Hi, it's Kevin Mady, the Editor-in-Chief of PhocusWire. We're here in the PhocusWire studio at the Phocuswright Conference, joined by Barth. Hello.
Hello.
You're the CEO of Uplift, so thank you very much for sitting alongside us here. Quite a few questions for you, if that's okay. We'll spend 5 or 10 minutes here.
Yeah.
And you know, you've raised a fair amount of money, and there are similar types of companies that haven't raised a lot of money. What was the strategy around raising it's 100 million so far? What's the strategy around raising that level?
Well, it's really a huge opportunity. If you look at leisure travel, it is over $1 trillion market. And we're finding that people, even in our digital channels, where we are putting Uplift Pay Monthly, that we're getting a double-digit share of transactions often. So if you do the math on that, it's an unbelievably large market, and we're going to need a lot of capital. So, you know, you do the math on that, it's, you know, perhaps we're underfunded.
But perhaps you are.
Yes.
And what do you use that money for, though? Is it to finance the operations of it? Because it is it's a finance business, right?
It is. There's a very long story about that. So some of the money is used for operating expenses, but a lot of the capital consumption is because we actually issue loans. And really the arc of the story is, a long time ago, I had been an investor in Lending Club when it was a very small company, and I learned a lot about how that market evolved. And what really happened was it evolved from a peer-to-peer marketplace where individuals were loaning money to each other to there's a very strong institutional market now for the capital. So we're able to leverage that, so we can actually get incredibly low cost of capital for the company, because there are good institutional markets for that, and that actually lets us loan money to people. We actually now have a credit policy where we can come all the way down to a 4.1% APR for consumers, which is off the hook, and no one else can do. And that's really the benefit, because what we're really trying to do is help people travel. We want to get them going.
I mean, that was kind of my lead to my next question. Do you consider yourself a travel company or a bank?
A travel company, 100%. If you look at who's on the team, you look at the background of all of us. I mean, most of the core founding team of Uplift actually were the guys who started MetaSearch. We were the pioneers of that market. And the really neat thing about that, so we think of ourselves as travel people, but it gives us these huge advantages, because integrating into the travel ecosystem is very different than integrating into e-commerce. There's all this legacy complexity that people don't understand. And, you know, by the way, we've already done it. So it's super helpful to do that. And then the other thing that's really good is that there's a dirty little secret about MetaSearch. Which is that we really never made very much money on airline tickets. So we had to get very good at cross-sell, upsell, ancillaries. And by the way, that is really now the name of the game. And so we're able to not just provide a financing tool for people, but we're actually able to bring all of that expertise that we had to help them get the ancillary sales, attach rates. And actually it's great because, you know, I could give you 100 examples, but I'll just give you one, which is like, people see a nice hotel, and we know that hotels, the majority of bookings are for the base room. You know, for another $5 a month, who doesn't want to have an ocean view instead of a parking lot view? But when you frame that as a larger amount, the conversion rate on those nice rooms is lower. So there's 100 examples like that.
So what's the best way that Uplift grows? Is it by having more third-party relationships with, I don't know, with OTAs or with airlines or whatever, or is it in some other kind of way? No,
it's very much. So we really think of ourselves, you know, a lot of people say they're B2B. We are truly B2B in a very deep and partner way. We almost think of it like we have a platform that is for our partners to drive their business. So if they want to kind of fiddle with the rules or have some crazy idea, like that's fine, because it really is for them. We're not trying to steal their customers. We're trying to support them. And
where's the risk involved then? When you have the conversations with, say, an airline, saying that we can do monthly payments, and maybe their CFO is thinking, hang on a second, I'm not quite sure about this.
Well, and that is actually, there's so much magic hiding under the hood. And I alluded to that a little bit yesterday during my talk, because what we do is we loan thousands of dollars to people in fractions of a second. That is unbelievably scary for almost anybody. And there's so much technology hiding under the hood. There's an old saying in lending, which is, it's easy to give the money out, hard to get it back. And that's part of what we managed to do, is to build a platform that is instantaneous, it's frictionless, it helps people. It literally is probably the best point of sale lending platform ever built. But what we believe is that travel is very special and it's very differentiated, very unique, and has all kinds of its own interesting problems. Because what we really want to do, if you think of the arc for 5 or 10 years from now, we don't want to be that startup that sort of created the use case for a large bank to slowly eventually figure it out. And travel, if we go out across e-commerce, will eventually sort of become thin and hollow and have a fairly light proposition for a lot of people. And instead, we're doing an incredibly deep, highly integrated, easy to use, incredibly effective thing only for travel. So we get asked all the time to go outside of travel. We think this is an unbelievably interesting problem. We're just going to go deep.
Okay. But does it evolve over time, or is just the very concept of what it is being a help?
A lot.
But I mean, where do you see it getting to next? What is the next phase for Uplift, rather than as well as getting more customers and partners and B2B, blah, 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 blah?
Yeah, well, right now, so we have, look, I'm the creative entrepreneurial, I'm a man who has more ideas and things that we can do for the travel industry than we will ever be able to implement. And there's, it starts with some easy things, like, for example, what we talked about yesterday, like who else is investing deeply to help travel agents? Like, or even, and by the way, by agent, I also mean call center. And, they have not had great tools before. We're investing deeply. And the thought that one of the facts, and it might have been lost in the whole sequence, that we have an 80% conversion rate of people who use our agent solution. The fact that you can move the booking page directly to someone's telephone in real time to close the sale and not send them back to the web. I mean, hopefully that wasn't lost on people. That's a huge deal,
right?
But like, who else who's a generalist is going to make these deep investments in all these really cool travel-specific tools? And by the way, that's a deep topic there.
So, yeah. And lastly, Brian, I mean,
yeah.
Is your focus always going to be on North America? Because I certainly remember when Uplift came along a few years ago, and us inherent skeptics in Europe saying, why is everyone so excited about that in the US? Because Thomas Cook and TUI have been allowing people to pay monthly since the 70s.
Yeah. Well,
so is that going to restrict your ability to, I don't know, make partnerships with Europeans just because it's something that exists in a way there?
Well, I'll say that our solution, there have been a variety of sort of more generic solutions over a long period of time. And, there's a lot of technology and automation. And we built something that is really great and purpose-built for travel. So you'll see us across all these geographies. And if you think about, you probably are aware of a lot of the really big name carriers that we've announced and whatnot. And they're not looking to go try to piecemeal some crazy thing together across all these geographies. They want somebody who's going to bring a holistic, awesome solution with one integration that just works and converts people like crazy. Okay. And so that's, obviously that's what we want to do.
Okay, yeah. Brian Barth, thank you very much. Thank you.
So nice to be with you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.